Good day everyone. In today's video I would like to show you my approach to fixing some pretty deep dents in the guitar body, or in this case it is a neck. A couple of simple tools that you need for this job, and a couple of simple materials rather, is just some toothpicks, Stanley knife blade, masking tape. I use super glue, and I use white spirit dry cleaning fluid to clean up the area before I start applying the super glue. Also, for polishing I use different grades of sandpaper, and I will finish it with some polishing paste, automotive polishing paste, to get to the finish that we would like to achieve on the end. Super glue, I find super glue the best to do these things because it polishes really well, and the finish will be very similar to the lacquer. Also, the super glue doesn't shrink that much. When you apply it to the hole or to the dent, it will build up slowly, and then you can cut it back and you can polish it back, and the finish will be pretty smooth. Before I start applying the super glue, I want to clean up the area that I want to work on, and dry cleaning fluid is pretty good. It takes off all the traces of oil, like from the fingers or hands. Also some waxes or something that might have been applied to the back of the neck or anywhere else for that matter. So you just go a little bit and you let it dry. And you don't want to put too much super glue at once. You just apply a little amount of it, and a little bit goes a long way. So you just want to, like, it's pretty hard to see on the video, I believe that, but you can hear it how I can get my fingernail in there, and that means the scratch is pretty, or the dent is pretty deep. So I will just dip the toothpick into super glue and apply it to the dent to build it up. I have a couple of them over here that are pretty deep, and you can feel them under your hand when you play. So I will try to fix them. Avoid blowing at the super glue because it wants to go white if you do blow at it from. Probably the moisture in your breath makes it go white, and you want to keep it as clear as you can, so you don't have too much rubbing and polishing to do after you finish your gluing. And also you don't want to fill it up too much. That's basically it, but you want to fill it higher than the surrounding area, so you can, when you cut it back, you will get a flat finish. Okay, you have to, once you do that, you have to let it dry. I don't think it takes too long for the super glue to dry. It will be a few minutes probably, and then we will see how much we put in there, or is it enough that we built up or not. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hey people, I'm back. The super glue is now dry. It's a bit humid weather today, so, and a bit cooler, so it takes a little bit longer. And now I have to try to cut that back to be as flush as possible with the surrounding timber. For that purpose I will use a Stanley knife blade that I will make into a little scraper. So to make a scraper, all you have to do is really just fold the edge of the blade over a little bit, and for that I use just a screwdriver, and I pull the blade over the edge of the screwdriver, and that way I will get a little ridge on the other side of the, it will be like a little fold over. Sharp edge that you can then use like a scraper. And what you do is you just scrape the most of the super glue off. You have to be very careful not to go and scrape off too much of a surrounding lacquer or surrounding timber. If you just fill up the timber or something. Okay, so you see a little bit comes off pretty easy. If you work on the flat area of the guitar body, you would use a little bit of tape. You would just put it on the two extreme edges of the blade, and that will just hold the blade away from the timber, and that would give you just a little bit of clearance above the lacquer, so when you scrape the super glue you take only a little bit off. On the neck the problem is you can't, because it's not flat, you can't do it that way, so you have to just go by your gut feeling and take off as little as possible or as much as you need. So it's getting a little bit better. It will look worse before it looks good, but don't panic. If you're not sure about doing this, don't attempt it. As I said, you have to make sure you don't go too far. So you want to feather the edges. Like in this case, the back of the neck is finished with a darker color. If you go through your stain, it will look pretty bad, so you don't want that to happen. And you don't want to go too far, because you still need to use different grades of sandpaper to sand the darts back. This doesn't feel too bad, but I have to put a little bit more super glue on it. So I'll be back when I'm ready to start working with the sandpaper on this thing. Okay people, the second coat of super glue is now pretty dry. Well, should be dry as anything. And I will keep on going with my scraping, and I move the camera to a little bit different angle so you can see better what I am doing, because on the first or the previous clip you couldn't see really what the blade was doing, so I hope this will show better. It's just very nice and steady. don't think you will ever make it as there was no dint. Maybe someone can. I can't do it like the thing to be invisible. But the purpose of this, especially on the neck, is to make playing much more enjoyable, and your hands not to go into not to feel the dints in your palms. Okay, so I think that is how far I will go with the blade, and now I start using sandpaper, and I will start with about 400 grit, and 360 may be a bit too aggressive. The 400 is not far off, and I'll just start really nice and light. Much easier to work on the bodybuilding. I did it before and it wasn't that stressful because there is not much of a chance of going too far. If you have tape on your blade and you use the sandpaper on the sanding block, just you go as far as you need just to polish it out. On this thing is a little bit harder because, as I said, it's rounded, so you work on rounded bits of timber. Always makes more dangerous of rubbing through the finish. Okay, so we'll just keep on going like that. Now with the finer sandpaper, till I get to 1200, that is the finest I use, and then I will use cut and polishing paste, automotive polishing paste, to finish it. So I'll come back when I'm ready for the paste. Thanks. Okay, I have now finished with the sandpaper, and you can see how the area that I sanded is a little bit dull, so I need to polish that out as good as I can, or as well as I can. And as I said, for that I use just a polyglaze car cut and polish number 1, I think it is, and it will be the first. So I just put a little bit on the rag. There might be a better way of doing these things, and there might be a smarter way or more professional way, but just found that I do this on the finishes of the guitars I built as well, and it works very well. So I can't see a reason why wouldn't I use them on my repairs as well. You just go over the area, it will go a little bit dull, and it's right, you leave it on a little bit. The dint is much less noticeable. You can still see it, but you can't feel it as much as it was. It's much more enjoyable playing the guitar. See, that looks pretty good. As I said, I don't claim I will make it invisible or not seen at all, but just try to make it as good as good as possible. Then on the end, I just use some turtle scratch and swirl remover that polishes the repaired area even more. Just let it dry slightly. And buff it off. So it looks nice and shiny, and as I said, it doesn't feel that deep anymore, the dint. I hope this will help someone to do their repairs or something, and I thank you for watching.